The laughter echoed through the bright glass showroom, sharp and humiliating, as grease-stained hands froze midair. Under the harsh midday sunlight pouring through the tall windows, Arham Qureshi stood beside a half-open luxury car engine, his 6-year-old son clinging quietly to his worn denim jacket. Across from him, in a tailored ivory suit and flawless heels, stood Billionaire CEO Zara Mehra, the powerful founder of Mehra Motors, a woman known for turning steel into empires. With cameras flashing and executives watching, she smirked and tossed a challenge into the air like it was a joke. "Fix this engine and I'll marry you, deal." Before we go further, if you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Your support keeps stories like this alive. RM had not come to that showroom seeking humiliation. He had come because he was desperate. A former automotive engineer, he had left his career years ago when his wife passed away unexpectedly, choosing instead to work in a modest roadside garage so he could raise his son, Rehan, himself. The world had called him foolish for walking away from corporate success. They had called him weak for choosing bedtime stories over boardrooms, but RM never regretted it. Rehan's tiny fingers wrapped around his own were worth more than any title. That day, however, pride was a fragile thing. Mehra Motors had announced a nationwide contest. Anyone who could diagnose and repair the mysterious failure in their newest prototype engine would win a life-changing contract. RM had studied the technical leak online for weeks at night after Rehan slept. He knew he could fix it. He just needed a chance. But Zara Mehra did not see a skilled engineer when she looked at him. She saw a single father in faded clothes, a child at his side, and a risk to her company's polished image. Her teasing challenge was meant to entertain her board members, not to empower him. Yet RM nodded quietly, rolled up his sleeves, and stepped toward the engine as the room buzzed with skeptical whispers. The showroom lights reflected off polished chrome as RM bent over the machine. Rehan sat on a nearby stool, watching with wide, trusting eyes. The engine's failure was subtle, a timing imbalance triggered by thermal expansion within the hybrid compression chamber. It wasn't a manufacturing flaw, it was a calibration oversight. RM's hands moved with calm precision, adjusting microvalves, recalibrating sensors, his brow glistening under the noon sun streaming through the skylights. Time seemed to slow. Executives checked their watches. Zara folded her arms, expecting him to falter. Instead, after 40 minutes of careful work, RM stepped back and gestured for the ignition. The engine roared to life, smooth, powerful, flawless. The vibration that once rattled the frame disappeared. The diagnostic screen turned green. Silence swallowed the room. Zara's confident smile faded. She walked forward, heels clicking against marble floors, her expression no longer mocking but searching. She asked for the full technical explanation, and RM delivered it with clarity and humility, never once mentioning her insult. The board members began murmuring, not with amusement this time, but admiration. In that moment, something shifted inside Zara. She had built her empire by trusting numbers, strategies, and ruthless competition. But she had forgotten the human stories behind talent. She noticed the way RM gently adjusted Rehan's collar while speaking, how the child looked at his father with pride instead of fear. She realized that strength did not always wear expensive suits. By late afternoon, sunlight warmed the showroom into a golden glow. Zara publicly announced that RM would receive the contract, not as charity but as chief innovation consultant. The crowd applauded, this time sincerely. She even admitted that she had misjudged him. It wasn't a grand apology filled with theatrics, but it was honest. Weeks passed. RM transformed the prototype division, not with arrogance but with teamwork. He insisted on flexible hours so he could still walk Rehan to school. To everyone's surprise, productivity increased. Engineers felt valued. Creativity flourished. Zara began visiting the lab more often, observing the culture he had built. She found herself drawn not to his skill alone, but to his quiet integrity. One bright morning, months later, Zara stood beside Arham on the company rooftop overlooking the city skyline. There were no cameras this time, no executives, just open sky and honesty. She admitted that her earlier challenge had been cruel. She confessed that seeing him choose fatherhood over fame had changed her understanding of success. RM didn't hold onto bitterness. He simply said that respect matters more than pride. Their connection grew, not from a joke, but from shared growth. Rehan began bringing drawings to Zara's office, calling her his engine friend. The empire that once echoed with cold ambition now carried warmth. If this story has touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that dignity can rise from humiliation. Your engagement helps these stories reach more hearts. And before we end, tell us in the comments, do you believe kindness can truly change a powerful heart?